All right, it says we are live. Hello, Gun Nation. How's everyone doing this evening? I got to stretch. Whew. Hope y'all are doing great today. We got Ranger 10, Pistol Pete, Dirt Track. Hello, and I'm sure more will be jumping in. We got Palindrome Pictures in the house. How are you? Pistol Pete says just saw a video drop on the 1 billion the government is putting towards the national red flag law. Yeah, more's coming. Hello, Bald and Curious. How are you? Brian DeShane's in the house. And I'm going to be doing some little bit of bragging about my LGS here in a minute. So we'll get some more people jumping in here. But, and if you don't know what LGS is, it's local store. You know, YouTube has really been beating me up pretty hard on my on my chats, my videos. You know, some are being demonetized, some aren't, but whatever. Cheers, everyone. First drink of the evening, and this is Bibb and Tucker whiskey. That's pretty good. My wife bought that for me quite a while ago. I really like it. And the bottle's getting a little thin, getting a little empty. Hello, Ohio Gear Guy. Bald saying I'm a victim of New York red flag laws. Yeah. You're a victim of a lot of things living in New York, man. But yeah, I want to be kind of bragging on TGE. Y'all all know what it stands for tonight. Biden said he took a train across the bridge that just collapsed. Man, that was crazy. They definitely have some weird stuff going on. But yeah, that's weird. Shows that only 9 are in here. We usually have a lot more. So, who knows? Let's see here. Oh, Brian, I guess he did get rid of it. Finally sold his CZ Shadow 2 Compact, a grand including RMSC optics mount and inside waistband holster. Dang, somebody got a pretty good deal. Yeah, Palindrome says thinking of getting his first suppressor now that wait times are low. Yeah, I've actually thought about grabbing another one too, or maybe a couple more. But you know, who knows? And I was going to say, I can't remember where you are, Palindrome, but Texas Gun Experience has a hell of a suppressor collection for you to choose from. But we'll go ahead and jump into it. It shows there's 15 in here. Y'all hit that thumbs up so I know y'all are all in here. But I did want to brag on Texas Gun Experience, and a lot of people don't know this, and I kind of don't talk about it a lot, but they have 2 stores. One is DFW Shooting Sports, and it's actually over in Bedford, Texas. If y'all are in the area, Dallas, Fort Worth, you know, area, y'all probably know where Bedford is. And this is their sister store, and they don't have a range at that location, but sometimes you can walk in there and find some gems. Not saying Texas Gun Experience doesn't have a lot of nice things. They do, because they carry very, very unique guns that a lot of places don't carry, like Korth, a lot of Wilson Combats. I mean, you know, Cobalt, or whatever it's called. Not Cobalt, Cabot. Cabots. I mean, they've got like all kinds of items that most places don't carry. Of course, staccatos and you know all of those. But they carry a ton of you know, hush cans. We'll say that. Rifles and a lot of Q products, you know, like the 8.6 Blackout, the Fix, they've got a lot of those, even in the pistol configuration or some of the smaller configurations. You know, they've got some really, really cool stuff. So, you know, if you're needing anything, you know, definitely check out Texas Gun Experience. Like I said, I've been going there, gosh, for ever since they opened. Because if y'all remember, I was with Crossfire way back when, and then I moved over to Texas Gun Experience when Crossfire closed. And I've been there ever since, and I really enjoy it. They have 25-yard ranges, 50-yard ranges, of course, all indoor. And the great thing is they have an air filtration system that, I mean, y'all can probably see it in the videos when I'm shooting. It literally just sucks the air up, filtrates it, or filters it. I don't know the name of it. I can't remember. I think I've shown it in a video before. But I mean, you're never, other than if you're behind a suppressed gun and it's blowing in your face and then it's going away, you're going to get gas that way. But um, I mean, it's just a really, really nice place. And when I shoot in the VIP section, and if you want a membership, they have different memberships, different choices. But I shoot in the VIP area, and it's really, really nice. I mean, you have like your own little range in there, and I've shown it in videos before, but it's been a long time. So if y'all want to see a tour of Texas Gun Experience, even the VIP area, I could do it again. They've got like leather recliners. They've got tons of TVs. They've got a coffee machine. They've got snacks, drinks, all kinds of food. Sometimes they'll have whiskey tasting there. Of course, it'll be an event like where you do the pew pew, and then, not together, of course, safe. But then they have ladies events there also. I think they have one that's called Ladies in Lead or something like that. But it's just a really cool place. But anyway, I was looking for a new pew pew, and they didn't have it in stock. But that's the neat thing about them is if you really want something, you can tell them, hey, I'm looking for this. They can check all their distributors and order it and get it in for you. So I've got something on order. I don't want to say what it is yet. It's supposed to be in sometime next week. And y'all know that, I mean, I love different types of things. And this is more of a fun / project that I'm going to turn this into. So I don't want to give too much away, but I think we'll have a really good time with it. I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I have some friends who have one or have this. And, I've talked to them about it. They really enjoy it. So they helped me close the deal on it. But what I was going to say is, I ordered mine through them. But when I was over at DFW Shooting Sports over at their Bedford location, they actually had, and that's the thing about Texas Gun Experience and DFW Shooters, they also sell used guns. So what I was meaning by you can go in these places and find a gem every once in a while, you can. I mean, it's not just your standard like Glock and M&P or whatever, that a lot of people are trading in, but they actually had the Dan Wesson Bruin 10 millimeter. And if y'all have seen it, now it's a single stack, but if y'all have seen it, that's a really, really cool gun. They actually had one used. They had a new one in stock there, and then they had a used one. So, and the used one was a hell of a deal. So I don't know if they still have it. This was a couple of days ago, but if y'all are in the market for a Dan Wesson Bruin 10 millimeter, they have one at a really great price used. And I looked at it, and the thing is immaculate. So whoever traded it in really took good care of it. I couldn't find any cosmetic damage. I didn't take it apart. I didn't do any of that. But I'm sure if you want to inspect it further, they would take it apart for you, to show you if you're a serious buyer, if that's something you're interested in. But that was a really, really cool gun. It's not optic ready. It's kind of like an OG, and it's the long boy. But that was a pretty cool gun. So, if somebody's looking for a Dan Wesson, that would, but in 10 millimeter, that'd probably be a pretty damn good one to get. And if you know what the prices are new on that, they're not cheap, but this one was a hell of a discount compared to the new one they had right there in stock. So, but if you're in the DFW area, definitely check out Texas Gun Experience, DFW Shooting Sports. They're good people. I wear their hats, I wear their shirts, when I'm shooting and stuff. And, I like to support them. They help support me. I mean, not paying me. But, they're just good people. Always good to go in there and have a name, of people that you want to see, do business with. I've ordered a ton of guns from them, purchased knives from them. I've purchased a bunch of stuff, ammo, mags, all kinds of stuff. And sometimes, if it's something that's really hot and new, maybe it might take them a minute to get it, because sometimes they, shove it out to all the big places, the big wholesale distributors sometimes. But if there's something you're looking for, give them a shot if you're in the area. And plus, a lot of people fly into the DFW airport and they'll go to Grapevine because, hell, they've got, it's either 250 or 300 fully auto there that you can rent. So I know a lot of people do that. And I've seen like very small tour buses, like little buses come in there where it's like a group of people, uh, and they host events and all that other stuff. They just had GOA, the women's GOA there, and that was a huge turnout. But if you're interested in something like that, also they have a knife making event. If anybody's into blacksmithing and or not, yeah, blacksmithing, making knives, they're having an event coming up for that too. So that's pretty cool. But you can go on their website and check it out. I can't put the website, but I think y'all can figure it out. Y'all are all smart. But hello, Lynn Holt. How are you? But I just want to give them a big shout out because, like I said, they've been my LGS for, gosh, 4 or 5 years, or ever since they've been open. Yeah, they just had their 4 year anniversary, I think. So I guess it's been 4 years. And I do try to attend their, events like that, just to support and stuff like that. And I've even been there, and a lot of subscribers have came up and said, "Hey, I watch your videos," and I'm like, "Oh, cool," and I get to meet them. So that's really cool too. And Gabriel says, "I'm ready to let one rip myself." Yeah, everybody's jumping on the suppressor deal with the short weights, so I see why people are doing it. DWX full size. I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Ooh, boy, how many nights are you on the road per week? Usually within a month. I am 3 weeks. I'm usually only home 1 week within that month or month and a half. So other than that, I'm usually on the road traveling. So quite a bit. I haven't added it all up. Probably hurt my feelings if I do that. Do they ship on or do they sell online and ship to FFL? Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Rich B. Yep, I've actually friends of mine. Um, I have found like used really nice gun deals up there for them. I just happened to bump into it and said, "Hey, they've got it," and they were like, "Oh, sweet," and done everything and had it shipped to their FFL. So yeah, they do that, or they did it then. I'm sure they still do it. The big CZ project that they're going to announce, I think it's going to be P10, of course, P10 related. I think it's going to be a new P10C, maybe a new P10F. They're not going to mess with the S and the M and all that other stuff. It's going to be P10C, P10F, I think, and I think it's going to be geared more towards. They're all going to be optic ready, of course. They could even have a. I doubt it'll be a like a compensated version, but I think they're going to have probably like maybe some window cuts available. I think it's going to be more. I mean, it's just a guess. I don't know this, but I think it's going to be more duty related because I know that they've been wanting to get into law enforcement for a long time, and now Colt apparently is running the ship. So I think that's what they're going to be going after. Wow. Wow. Damn. That's crazy. DWX compact with rail and optics ready. Everybody's guessing. It's probably going to be. Some people are going to be like, I'll put it this way: some people are going to be like, "What? Why did you get that gun?" So, but like I said, I've already started ordering parts for it. Um, I mean, it functions one way or it functions another way. I'll give that part away. But I think a lot of people are going to be like, "Why did you get that? What was so cool about that or something?" But here's where I am now. I've got tons of pistols. I've got plenty of 2011s. I've got plenty of ARs. I got plenty of, big rifles, plenty of shotguns and all that other stuff. You know, I do like guns to have fun with. Um, so I don't really need any of those other things. And I'm also wanting to kind of build things a little more purpose driven now. since I have all those other items. So you'll kind of get the take of it. And I'll do a box opening, and things like that. Heck, I might even go in and when I pick it up, if y'all want to see that, let me know. When I go in to pick it up at the gun store, maybe I could just do a little filming of if y'all want to see that. Not of the 4473 and stuff. Of course, that's all personal stuff. But if y'all want to see, me picking it up, we could do something like that maybe. Yeah, it's a lot of travel, Bradley. Yeah, it is a lot of travel. Yeah, I just, since they've been trying to knock out the PO7s and the PO9s, I don't think they're going to go the double action, single action route because it's just not as popular, even for police, military, things like that. That's why I think, honestly, it's probably going to be the P10C and P10F. I mean, that's just, I'm guessing, but could be totally, totally wrong. Hello, Jason Fisher. How are you? Big Johnson, thoughts on Colorado House may pass an assault weapon ban? Not sure about the Senate. Jason, like I've said before, anything that is passed, um, it can be passed all day. It comes down to you yourself and what you want to do. I've talked many, many times, and you know it because you were on the chats of how I feel about that. So that was a right that was given to us at birth, and that's the way it is. Pistol Pete says it's a 22 competition pistol. I don't know. Rich B says, I am wanting to get my first AR-10 and 308. Is the PSA Saber a good place to start for the first one? Actually, I think that is a pretty legit 308. For the price, it's really hard to beat. I mean, it has a lifetime warranty on it. So I don't really think there's going to be a problem with it. From what I've seen of it, everybody seems to like it. Is it going to be like like one MOA or sub MOA? It might not be, but those guns really don't have to be. They're gas guns. It's not a precision bench gun. And it's definitely going to have plenty of combat accuracy. So I wouldn't be afraid to jump into something like that. And I think it's actually a pretty good start. Plus, I really like the color setup on it. The gold, the green, kind of different FDEs. I think it looks pretty sharp. I mean, I even thought about getting one when it was first released because I was like, that's pretty cool. So I think you would do fine with it. I would just, recommend probably shooting a heavier grain bullet. I would say in the 160s and up. And I think that's where you're going to get the best performance out of it, personally. Hello, DB. How are you, man? DB said just top 900 through the 17L. Love this thing. That's awesome, man. DB, do you have like an outside, and I don't even know if do you compete at all or do any kind of competitions or anything? The 17L is pretty long. I don't think you can run it in USPSA because it's too long for the box. But do you ever like put it on a battle belt? Do you have a holster for it or anything like that? Do you ever run around with it and do stuff like that? Just curious. I stumbled on a CZ75 SPO1 tactical. It reminds me of a CZ97. Thoughts? CZ75 SPO1 tactical that is used overseas in some of their military slash blah blah blah. The 97 is a 45. The 75 SPO1 is a 9mm. I mean, they are, somewhat kind of similar. But your 97 45 has, the bushing on the front that you can unscrew and take off. So it is kind of a different animal on its own. SPO1 is a good gun, and I've owned it. Matter of fact, I had two of them. I did get rid of them because I really still prefer the Shadow 2. That is just my favorite all metal other than the 97B. That's my favorite all metal CZ that's 9mm is the Shadow 2. So, and I've shot the Shadow 1, I've had the CZ75 Omega, I've had the regular CZ75, I've had the Tacticals. I've had all of those, but the Shadow 2 just does it for me. It's just a great, great gun. I like the grip better, I like the trigger better. And I've had people say, even a YouTuber that I personally know, he was like, well, I'm going to take my 75 and make it into a Shadow 2. And I said, you can buy all the parts, you can buy everything you want, but it still won't be a Shadow 2 because of the grip. It's a totally different grip on the Shadow 2. So, and he spent all that money and did all that time, and he was like, yep, it didn't work. You're right. So, anyway, it is what it is. So many companies copying staccato duty guns that I wouldn't be surprised that's what CZ's doing. I think so too. That's exactly what I said. Palindrome, I think they're really going after law enforcement and military type contracts because think about it, CZ and Colt are together. And I think Colt, from what I hear, Colt is running the ship now and they're all about military and, or, all about contracts and stuff like that. So that's just my guess. I don't know. P10C with a 1911 trigger. Yeah, I don't think they'll do that. What barrel length do I recommend? I like 18 for a 308. 16 is not bad, but on a 308, at least an 18, 16 to an 18. 18 is going to give you a little more burn. I wouldn't go to a 20 or anything like that. That's just me personally. It would work for you. And of course, like I like a 12 and a half too. I mean, it's kind of different purpose rifles. But if you're wanting to get your basic AR-10 setup, I would say a 16 to an 18 in an AR-10 is kind of a good general purpose do it all. But it's again whatever you want, not what I want. Local shop has a Shadow 2 compact for $1,300. Yeah, I mean that's a good price. They're like $12.99 as MSRP. So yeah, and you can still, the CZ Customs can take them and trick them all out and everything. But at the end of the day, and here's kind of what I'm looking at. At the end of the day, you've got an SP01 and you've put, the Cajun Gun Works or the CZ Custom kit in it. You've done all these other things to it. When you could have had a Shadow 1 if you want that grip. And the Shadow 1 brings more money if you ever want to sell it down the road than an SP01 Tactical. And then if you get a Shadow 2, the Shadow 2 is more dominant than the Shadow 1. And also, like I said, and I mean, get what you want, but I much prefer the Ergos, your front stippling from the factory, your rear stippling from the factory, because on the other ones, you really don't have it. They really, I mean, they copied Tanfolio, and I've got the Tanfo also. They kind of pretty much copied that frame for the Shadow 2. That's why I love both those guns so much. DB says, no, sir, range toy, inside and out. It's just too long and ridiculous. I love it. Got a giant magwell on it. I enjoy shooting a playing card target at like 30 yards. Okay, the reason I was asking that, DB, is because in one of my holster tubs, I have a holster that I had made like, oh my gosh, probably 6 or 7 years ago for the 17L. And it's actually designed for it. So you've got an open top where you can actually snap it down in there. And it's long and it's got a clip-on tech lock and everything for the 17L. So if you want to shoot me an email, and I think you've got Bald's information, you could probably just shoot me a text or whatever. Just get with Bald, and I'll send that to you if you want it. Because I'm not ever going to use it because on my 17L I have a comp, and it will not fit that. It says Big J is finally getting Sig X-Team. Yeah. Hello, Floridian. How are you, man? Bald and Curious, don't you have DB's information? If you do, just give him my information so he can shoot me a text or an email or something. It's a red carbon. It's a red blood carbon fiber holster, and I'll just send it to you if you want it. I mean, it's nice. It's really nice. I just can't use it. Yeah, DC. That I mean, they're already super reliable, but I think what they want to do is get more traction, especially here in the states. They're real popular over, of course, the Czech Republic. But I think they're, and if you think about all the law enforcement, military, all that, they're striker fire, striker fire, striker fire. That's why I think it's definitely going to be on the P10C, P10F line, and it could be P10C first and then P10F, or both at the same time. So I think that's what it's going to be. And also, I think James Reeves just dropped another um, like a close or something where he was talking to one of the P10C engineers. So that's why I kind of think that's what it's going to be. I mean, I already thought that's what it was going to be before that. What is going on? Okay. Wonder why it's doing that. Oh, Big J, that's crazy. You mentioned that. I have a friend that shoots competition once a month. He mentioned to me about getting a rig and going out one day. I'd be honored to use your rig, sir. Yes, sir. You're more than welcome to it. I do give away a lot of stuff on the channel. I don't really advertise it to people, but you know, I mean, I've sent stuff to all kinds of people, and I enjoy sharing that stuff. Um, it's one that I paid for, but the guy gave me a discount. Not I think I don't know. I think when I did the video, if I remember right, I think when I did the video, he reached out. That was back on YouTube when you could like send kind of DMs or whatever it was. We could communicate. And he had reached out and said, "Hey, I own a holster company and I want to make you a holster for that. You try it out and I'll sell it to you for this discounted price." So I PayPal'd him whatever the money was. And anyway, he sent it to me. And like I said, it's really nice, but it only fits a 17L. Like even a Glock 34, it won't fit because it's just so long. Because it's made like a skeleton frame where you kind of snap the nose in a little bit and then you snap it down in there. So all the top is exposed and it's red carbon fiber. They call it blood red carbon fiber. And I'll just give you the tech well too. I'll just give you the whole setup if you're interested in it. And apparently you are. So, but yeah. And also, I don't know if y'all are into knives. Texas Gun Experience has a huge, huge knife bar. It's actually really impressive. I mean, they've got so many knives, and they're a Microtech dealer. I mean, they deal in the high end knives, and then all the way to the basic knives. But I love cool knives, and I can go even in the knife section. And a lot of people, they're not gun people; they're knife people, and I get it. And that's what I'm saying. A lot of people walk in there, going to look at guns and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know you had knives." They have thousands. I'm talking probably 10,000 plus knives, and I could be even shorting it. They've got some crazy knives, and they've got some I've never even seen before. Uh, yes, let me know if you need a cover shipping or make a donation, Big J. Yeah, no, man. I'll just send it to you. I'm not worried about it. Yeah, just give me your information and I'll send it to you. And then also, I've been getting more and more people hitting me up. And I made a video. I think we even did a chat about it. I talked about it on a chat saying, are, micro EDC knives kind of losing traction? Or people, some people changing. And I'm not knocking the small micro knives, so please don't take this the wrong way. But I talked about it, and even at that time, I was having a lot of people that were reaching out and saying, "Oh yeah, I'm carrying a compact now. I used to carry a micro, but I've tried, and one person specifically said that he tried, the dry fire where, you just reach down to grab it real quick to see if he could. And he said he had large to extra large hands. And, because I had complained about when I had tried to draw it real quick that I would miss the grip sometimes just due to my hand size. And I guess he kind of was like, you know what, I've really never tested myself, so I'll try it. Well, he was running into the same problems and he was dealing with like a large to an XL hand. So I'm getting more and more people, I guess. I don't know if that video kind of took off or more people are watching it or what, but here recently, I think this past week to a week and a half, I've been getting a lot of comments saying, hey, I checked out your video and I agree. I used to carry micro guns and now I'm going to a compact or a bigger compact. And heck, some of the micro guns, they're getting bigger, such as like the Sig Macro and stuff like that. They are getting bigger and they're holding more ammo and getting longer grips. So I don't know if you could really call those a true micro, even though that might be still the way that they're listed. But, I just thought that was interesting. Like I said, I don't know if that video took off or if people, but I am getting more comments. But I was just curious, have you all changed or, the people that out here in the chat that, carry the micros, or you're like, hey, I kind of want to, maybe carry a compact now, or no, I'm perfect with my micro or what? And like I said, I'm not trying to, pick on anybody or anything like that. I just want your honest opinion. Are you good with that? Or you wanting to make a change? Or you thinking, yeah, I need to change? What are you thinking? Let me catch back up. Some of these went flying by. Hello, Trigger Bar. How are you? Bradley lives 2 hours away from Microtech. Damn, that's close. Let's see here. Ball saying, Big Johnson, if you're giving away stuff, I'd take one of those 2011 so you can have room and a safe for new toys. No, I get it. But, I have thought about maybe getting, thinning out some of my collection a little bit. I've thought about it. Not like ones I really, really love, but man, I think I talked about it a while back. I was going through the safes and just looking at some of the stuff, and I'm like, I haven't even shot that gun in like 4 years. And I've even brought it up before back in the day. I would pull guns out, and I didn't even know that I still had them. I thought that I'd gotten rid of them or sold them. So, yes, I love having all these different options, but sometimes it's like, dang, you can only shoot so many. And I mean, I can arm plenty of people, and that's the whole thing. I do want to, if something were to go bad, I want to take care of my family and, close friends and things like that. I do want to be able to help out people, but, I could still do that. So, DC says, have you had any experience with the Langdon Tactical PX4? I have shot it before. They have a comp for it now. Yeah, it's an aftermarket comp. There's a company that's making it, and I've seen it. It snaps onto your light, and even 1776 has it. So I think it's a cool option for people if that's what they're wanting, and it's legal in all states, so that's cool. Biden has made us also broke. We can't afford sending money to his opponent. Yeah, but they're sending money everywhere else, to every other country, and taking care of people that are here illegally and putting them up in hotels and giving them, cell phones and cards and all this other stuff, but can't take care of our original homeless, the people that are citizens that are here and they were on the streets, not taking care of them, taking care of people that are being bussed over here. Something wrong with that picture? Can't take care of our vets, but, but all of a sudden we found all this money to take care of all the other people. No, Pistol Pete, Uncle Dan's already called that. He has already called that. I'm sorry. I love you, brother, but Uncle Dan has already called that gun. Matter of fact, he even said it today. He even said, if anything ever happens, and I said, when I croak and bite the bullet, or pass away, or whatever you want to call it, Take a dirt nap. That one's yours. Ohio Gun Gear. Would you get a DWX compact if they milled it for an optic and it had a light rail? No, I wouldn't. They're pretty small. Honestly, between those two guns, and I already have plenty of single action triggers on the other 1911s, and I love single action triggers. But honestly, between those two guns, and I'll say this for probably about the 10th time, um, if I had to go between those two guns as they are right now, I would get the CZ Shadow 2 compact if I had to. Both of them are pretty small. I've shown a picture of the CZ Shadow 2 compact in my hand. It's pretty small. But out of those two, I would get the Shadow 2 compact because I do like double action, single action. Um, and I just think it's a great looking gun. And nothing against the DWX. I mean, it's a nice gun too, but that would just be my choice. Palindrome says I won't carry micro guns anymore. Sold all of them. I had a lot. Yeah, well, I mean that's kind of what I'm hearing, and I'm not like I mean not from everybody. Don't take this the wrong way. And then Bradley saying that's how I am. Went from compact to micro, then now back to compact. Yeah, there you go. I mean, I'm hearing that more and more, and not like I said, not trying to beat up the micros or whatever. You like what you like, and that's cool. Y'all know me. I don't tell people what to shoot, what to own. I don't do any of that. Hello, Armsman. How are you? Yep, I've been still rocking his holsters. Really enjoying them. Uh, been carrying it all week. Hell, I've been carrying it. Well, the two versions of it, I've been carrying them for about the past 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Still really, really liking them. Also, if you do want a holster from the Armsman, I don't make a penny on it, but you can go to the Armsman and you can use my discount code. It's BJGG10. That will save you 10% off and free shipping. So, and there's the way it's spelt, and I think y'all can find the website. But BJGG10, all capitalized, and that will save you 10% off and free shipping. Like I said, I don't make a dime. He just gave that discount code to y'all so you can save some money. And 10% off, and he's giving you free shipping. So that's a hell of a deal. Trigger Bar is saying, for me, it's like saying, which size wrench do you want? I like full size, compacts, subcompacts, and micros. They all have a place in my opinion. Yeah. And I mean, like I said, there's a lot of people who have a rotation and they'll rotate between it. And I totally get that. I totally get it. And if you like micros, if you like whatever, that's what you like. And rock it. Just as long as you send, or excuse me, as long as you carry whatever you carry, just carry it. Carry it with you. Have it with you. Yeah, DB, you're sending it to the right place. That'll work. William says, I have several Microtech, Spyderco, ZT knives. I was a knife guy before I got a firearms addiction. And that's the way a lot of people start, William. And, I really enjoy nice knives. I've lost a Microtech before. I've lost a really nice Benchmade before. Because that's the thing. Some knife guys and some people, they'll keep the knife in their pocket and they might cut a box and whatever. But I would use them to work with. Like I would be on the tailgate and I'd have carburetors out there, rebuilding carburetors back in the day. I would be, I use them to work with. And I'll leave them on the tailgate, blah, blah, blah. Who knows if people walk off with them, and I would lose them or they were taken. And one of them I laid up on a tonneau because I was working on a truck one time on my buddy's truck, helping him fix it. And then I said, hey, run it around the block, make sure everything's okay. And it was getting dark. And the tailgate was already shut, and I had set the knife up on there because I was fixing the ball. I was tightening up the ball on its hitch and using a breaker bar to really crank it. So I set the knife up there. And he took off down the road, and We never found the knife. So that was the Benchmade. So now I have still nice knives, but I also have some that aren't super that I would worry about. Lynn Holt says compacts. Oh, here's Lynn Holt. I'm sorry. He says I have two micros. Only one gets carried once a week. The other serves a different purpose. Summer is coming, so compacts for me. Um, yeah, and a lot of people do, go to micros in the summer, compacts, in the fall, heavy winter where you're always going to be wearing a coat. Then they'll go to full size with an outside waistband holster. I get all that. I totally get it. And also say kind of dress around, like if you're going to wear like a belly shirt and all that other stuff, any gun's going to show. I don't care if it's a micro or whatever it is. But I think I just kind of see compacts making a comeback, or people already had the compacts and they had micros. And because I'm looking around at some of the gun stores and stuff, and I'm starting to see more and more micros used for sale. That's another reason I'm just kind of like, man, there's a lot of macros or micros for sale, and it is summertime, so you think people might be carrying them or keeping them, but I'm seeing a bunch of them. And of course, the comments I'm getting from people. DB said he thinned out his collection over the last year myself. Yeah, and like I said, it's not, I'm not having a fire sale or anything like that. I'm just kind of like, man, I just have a lot between shotguns, rifles, some bolt guns, some, bunch of pistols, striker fire, double action, single action, double action, single action. I'm just like, man, I only have so many safes. And those safes are pretty damn full. I mean, what I want to do is get rid of some guns and probably get rid of some safes. And the safes I have aren't tiny. Yep. Kudos to DeSantis for passing a bill at squatters. That should already be. I mean, think about it. If someone trespasses on your property, you know what you can do with them? Those people are trespassing on your property. You own it. All this crap where they're like, oh, you need to go to court and do all. It's like, man, you're in my place. Sorry. Yeah, so sorry. So sorry. Pistol Pete says, damn you, Uncle Dan, I'll trade you a Glock 19. He has Glock 19s. DB says, smallest I carry is a G19. Yeah, I mean, that's a compact. Tios is upping their game. Yeah, I've played around. I shot that Night Stalker. I liked it. It was super light. I'm still kind of like, why the hell is it so light? I mean, it's super light. But I mean, like I said, anytime you can get someone a good option, as long as they hold out and there's no failures, and I know that they're not, they're not MIM. However, depending on their forging process or their casting process, you can have some inferior parts. Not saying they are. I'm not going there. I think it's going to get more and more people into 2011s or double stack 1911s who have been very curious about it, just like kind of what Springfield did with the Prodigy and all these other guns. So I think that's cool that, because now I'm seeing more and more and more 2011s out there, and I'm seeing more and more people buying them and being curious about them. And then they could buy a Tios, they could buy whatever, and then maybe a Springfield, or maybe a Staccato, or maybe an MPA, or whatever. I just think always having different options is a great thing. Armsman is saying, love the S2 compact, my favorite carry for some time now. Yeah, and I'm telling you, that thing has a better trigger out of the box. The Shadow 2 compact has a better trigger out of the box than the Shadow 2 full size. Because when I played with that trigger, I was like, wow, this is a good trigger. I would not even do a trigger kit on it. And I've done trigger kits on all my other S2s, and I've had three Shadow 2s. I only currently have two now. I sold one, but that was a long time ago. But I think the S2 trigger, even being a double action, single action, it's very underrated, or a lot of people haven't tried it probably. Palindrome is saying things are getting so crazy out there. We are all realizing we're going that we need to hit a target with ergos, no more micro guns, not to mention capacity. I mean, I agree with that. When I shoot a micro gun, they're small, they're compact, they're tiny, they're easily, easier to conceal. A lot of people think, or a lot of people, that's their opinion. Um, but if stuff gets really crazy, or I have to deploy that, I feel way more comfortable in having a compact at least, or even a full size. Compact is perfect for me. I'm not opposed to it. And even a lot of the compacts, my fingers hang off the bottom with a lot of the compacts, but I run like +2 extensions on the one that those do that, and that takes care of it for me. That's just my choice. Most people, they wouldn't have that problem even with a compact, but I just look at it as more of a, you know, I hate to use this term because it's so out there, fighting pistol. Um, it's just if I have to deploy it and have to do work, I would feel more comfortable about having that. That's just my opinion. Let's see. Now that most Shadow 2 compacts are sold out, you think there will be more coming? I'm hoping. They are pretty hard to find in stores. I'm not seeing them. I mean, I've only seen one in the live. That's the one at Texas Gun Experience. I took a picture of it. They currently do not have one in stock as of the other day when I happened to run in there. They might have gotten one recently. But that's the thing, even with Texas Gun Experience and some of your probably local LGSs, you could probably be like, hey, can you put me on a list for that particular gun when you get it or see it or whatever, and have some people maybe be on the lookout for it for you. That can help if you're really looking for it. I'm hoping they pump more out. I think it's a great gun. I think it really fits a great role. And I'm telling you, like I've said before, if the gun fit my hand, I would own one now. I would literally own one. I really, really like that gun. I don't like the safety on the side because it's shaved off. However, the full size Shadow 2 safety, if you want the extended ledge, it fits right in there. It pops right in. Um, and of course, it's optic ready. You can get you a plate, whatever you want. Um, and it takes lights. You're ready to go there. Um, I mean, I just think it's a great gun. If it fit my hand, I would have one today. So there you go. Where I can't say that about the DWX Compact. I absolutely love the DWX full size. I love it. But it does not do anything that my other 2011s already do. And I am heavily vested in P10 F mags, which the DWX takes. Lake Ozark guy is saying micro is the summer with light clothes, otherwise compact. Yeah, I mean, I get it. I still carry compacts, even in the summer when I wear t-shirts and shorts and flip flops or whatever. Um, and that's the thing. I mean, I'm a bigger guy. Some people have to dress around their gun. I get it. I don't think they're going to do it, DC. I don't think they're going to do the PO1 because they've got the Shadow 2 compact and now they have the Dan Wesson, of course. I just don't think they're going to do the PO1. Also, the PO1 is NATO approved, and I don't think they want to mess that up or alter that in any way. Hey, how are you? It says, hi, Big Johnson. Is the VNSH belly band holster a gimmick? I was happy with my Harry's holster singleton. I would not buy a belly band holster. For one, if it's hot, you're going to be sweating like a fire. I mean, you're going to be sweating, because it's like wearing one of those girdle things, that I mean, way back in the day, how you could, trim belly fat. That's basically what it is. It's just a neoprene ace bandage thing. You're gonna sweat. I would, and those are so gimmicky. And I'm just being honest with you. Some of those companies have reached out to me. There's a new one that's out. I don't know if that's the brand. I can't remember. But they reached out to me. They're like, hey, let us send you this, and you test it, and you do this, and you do that. And y'all know I am true to myself. And I was like, nope, hard pass. And if that's what you like, go for it, work it, do whatever you want to do. But that is not, I'm not going to carry in that shit. I'm just not going to do it. Yep, DB, I have lost a lot of expensive sunglasses too. And it does suck. I've lost Oakley's, uh, shit. Um, what's the other one? Uh, oh, I'll tell you a cool story. I've lost a pair of Ray Bans. They're really, really, really nice Ray Bans. But I'll tell you a really cool story. I have my dad's original Ray Bans from the 50s. They're the tortoise shell, and these are the OG Ray Bans. Okay, from way back in the day. It's different, different material they were made out of, different holder, different lenses, um, and all that. And they were kind of scratched up a little bit, and I actually had them refurbished, and I had them bent, like by an optometrist, where I put them on and had them bent to fit me. They're not the gold round ones. They're I can't remember the damn name of those. Y'all will probably know it. You know, not the metal frame, but the tortoise shell, and they had the black frames as well. But I have my father's original, like 1954 freaking Ray Bans, and I looked them up, and they're worth quite a bit. But I'm never going to sell them. But man, those things are badass. I'm like, wow. And I did that like several years back. Um, because I do like some of the classic Ray Bans. Kind of like the Buddy Holly kind of look. But I'm a big Oakley fan. I have tons of Oakleys. Bald and Curious says, I've never understood changing size of gun with seasons. You pick an EDC and stick with it. Here's what forces that, Bald and Curious, and out of all people ought to know this. When you have a larger gun collection, like if you're the guy I got a Glock 19, a Glock 17, and a Glock 34. Okay, they kind of all have roles. So they'll pretty much carry the Glock 19 all the time, or maybe a Glock 17 periodically or in the winter. But when you have, like, I've got this X Macro, I've got this 2011, I've got this, I've got that, you want to kind of rotate through your stuff. And I know a lot of people that do that, and I periodically do that as well myself. So that's kind of what it is. And there are a lot of people that just get one gun, and that's their lifelong, fanatical thing. I kind of do like changing. I don't like just being a one guy gun or one guy or one gun guy. Um, I've got plenty of options, so I do like to use them. But yep, CV's been out for a while. They are really good knives. Yeah, Pistol Pete. They walk on out with a lot of stuff now. Oh, Bald and Curious says anyone want to buy an alien? Oh, is she hot? Trigger Bar says, for me, concealed carry changes on where I am, what clothes I have to wear, and how acceptable it would be if someone saw me printing. And I totally get that, Trigger Bar. I do agree with you on that. And I know that is a lot of considerations for a lot of people because, like, and I'll actually say this too. There's some areas where I go to and I travel to, and I want a bigger gun, and I want more capacity, and I want extra mags. And there's some areas where I'm perfectly content. I've been traveling for a long, long time. I know these areas, a lot of them like the back of my hand. Now, could something change? Yes. You could throw any variable in there and something could change. But I do kind of plan accordingly, so I get exactly what you're saying. Here's Armsman. He's a holster maker. I'm seeing many micros being traded in locally for larger firearms now. I'm also starting to see a big 2011 craze coming. There you go. I've been calling it. If y'all go back, I've been calling it forever. And he's a holster maker, so he makes a lot of holsters that people are buying for their particular guns. So that's what I'm seeing. I think people are, and I'm not saying they're done with micros. I mean, I think there's a place for them, but I think it's just a time and a place and things like that. I picked up a Russian SGL-31 Saiga AK-74 Saturday. Sweet. That's awesome. I sold my Saiga, gosh, what was it, like 3 or 4 years ago? Or no, I guess it was 3 years ago. Because I bought it for a smoking price and the price shot up on them because the particular rifle version I had was good in all 50 states. And yeah, I did pretty well on that one. And I really didn't like it. And I mean, I liked it in the rifle configuration, but the trigger, just because of the long, linkage, it was just standard. But I was just like, nah. And I didn't want to chop the gun up to make it like an AK. I kind of like the OG look of it. And apparently, the person that bought it was out of California, and yeah, so I did well on that one. And that kind of brings up another point that I talk about, and I've mentioned and I've mentioned and I've mentioned. That's another reason I kind of don't buy a bunch of budget things, because if I ever get tired of them, or I'm just like, man, that gun's just not for me. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with budget guns, but I know people that have like 25 budget Glock 19 clones. And I'm like, okay, how many of those do you need? And then also when you go to sell them, you've taken a big hit on it to try to sell it. You're going to get like half, sometimes less than half of what you paid for it. So that is why I try to stick with some name brands, some recognition, something that maybe is a little more unique and harder to get. I'm not saying every gun. I have a lot of guns that you could just go pick up tomorrow. But I kind of, I don't really jump hard into the budget stuff. I do own them. But I just kind of, eh. Oh, here we go. Armsman. He said, I finally got the Night Stalker, and that is the Tias Night Stalker, the one that I shot in that video. I finally got the Night Stalker, man. I'm liking it more than the Prodigy. Not sure about the weight though. Mine feels pretty solid. Wow. Okay. Well, there you go. He's got the Prodigy and the TS Night Stalker, and likes the Night Stalker better than the Prodigy. So there you go. That's great that we get that kind of feedback. I actually, when I shot, and I've shot the Prodigy and I've shot the TS Night Stalker, and I actually did prefer the Night Stalker over the Prodigy. Now, would I take my Staccato or my MPA over the TS Night Stalker? No. But, it's just a different feel. But does it seem like a pretty good gun? Yeah. I mean, I only shot that one mag through it, but it felt pretty good. Hello, Norwood. How are you doing, sir? Dan says I need a safe. Well, if you wait long enough and you got a big, huge truck, you could come pick up one of mine, because I'm trying to, I'm really honestly thinking about getting rid of some of these. Trigger Bar says, I mean, you can get an X macro with 17 rounds flush fit, so macros can compete on capacity. But is it a micro? It's just really thin. Exactly. That's what I was saying earlier. When you start getting into these micros with longer grips and longer barrels and all that, they're just a thin compact by then. So they're not really considered a micro anymore, or macro anymore. Scott says, I don't carry my collectible guns. I get it. There's some that I don't carry either. And I won't because, for one, I'm not going to cut those up to make them optic ready. And I'm pretty much an optic guy. If it doesn't have a way to put an optic on it, even if I were to mill it, to put an optic on it, and it was a gun I really, really liked, I would spend the money to mill it to have a mic or have a dot put on it. But if it's a collectible gun and it didn't come that way, I'm like, damn, I really would love it if it were, being able to put a dot on it. But I just don't carry them. Those are guns, and I've got several of them. Those are guns that I'll pass down. But I don't really, I still have my original, very, very, very first gun from 1986. I mean, should say this, my very first pistol was made in 1986, and I still own it. Now, I've shot pistols, but I'm talking my own pistol. I still have my original one. And if you want to see what it is, I've got some videos on it back then. And if you want to see it again, I could probably reintroduce it and maybe throw a video out there of it. But I was pumped. What's your thoughts on the DD H9? It's got a lot of growing pains. I've got personal friends who have them, and the personal friends have had good luck with them. I've got friends. I guess I need to rephrase this. I've got personal friends that I talk to all the time that have them and have had pretty good luck with them. One of them will not, what is it? It won't shoot. Is it 124 grain? I think one of them will not shoot 124 grain for some weird reason. It just won't feed it. And then another one is a buddy of mine at the gun store, and he has one, and his is starting to keyhole. And like, I'm talking close targets. You're like, okay, you should be like this. It's like this, and some are here. There are flyers all over the place, and he's a good shooter. I know it's not him. So there are some teething pains. I would not get one. I don't want one. I shot the Hudson, the original one, and it was okay. Wasn't my favorite, but I just have no need for it. 15 round, aluminum gun. It's cool on paper. And I'm sure it shoots really nice, but I would just rather carry a 15 round polymer pistol or a 2011 that has 15, 16 or 16 rounds, 17 rounds in it. That's just me. But if you like it and you want it, and that's all up to you, but I think they're having a lot of growing pains. Yeah, I have all my collectibles. I shoot every one of them. None of mine have not been shot. I shoot every one of them, but there's some I just won't carry because they're just not practical. But I shoot every one of them. Hello, Clyde Cumberland. How are you? Yes, that's what we were talking about earlier, Ohio gear guy. Yeah. Hopefully we get all of these. Let's see. Tactical Rabbit is saying there should be no reason to buy a gun that doesn't fit your hand or has features that don't feel good to use. Exactly. And this is where I think the influencer role comes in. I really, really do. And I guess people could say, you're an influencer too. Okay. But as you've always heard me say, buy what you want, shoot what you want, shoot what works for you, shoot what fits your hand. Because I have people beat me up all the time. I can't believe you don't have an X Macro. I can't believe you don't have this. I can't believe you don't have that. It's like they don't fit me. Why would I carry some shit that I can't grab in an emergency situation or a panic situation or a, on point situation and I'm going to miss the grip, or I don't shoot it well because it's so small? Why would I do that? Why would I put myself, my family in that situation? Why would I do that? In my own right mind. It's because, oh, so and so said it's the best gun in the world. I don't give a shit what so and so said. I could care less. I do not care. I care what works for me. And there's a bunch of guns that I have that other people don't like. And there's a bunch of guns that other people have that I'm like, oh, I wouldn't give $1 for that gun. So that's why we have choices. Trigger Bar says, hit that like button. I agree. Hit that like button. Thank y'all very much. CZ pistols. Yeah, there's supposed to be a P10C and hopefully a P10F. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, that's what we were talking about, Bald and Curious. That thing is turning into a monster because what they're realizing is if people can get a full grip on it, they shoot it better. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I agree, Tactical Rabbit. If I don't take them off, I wouldn't lose them. Wayfair. Yes, you're correct. Yeah, that's what they are. Len Holt, they're called the Ray-Ban Wayfarers. Yes. Probably carrying an MPA. Let me catch back up, man. Apparently, I'm way behind. Ooh, man. Tactical Rabbit's bringing in the heat. What 3 guns would you have if you were limited to how many you could own? Well, I'm not. But here's one I would own. And hear me out on this reasoning. I would have an AR-15, whatever your choice. You know, I would prefer if you can only have 3, I would prefer a higher end or a better quality one. And what I mean by quality is a better barrel, better handguard that has better lockup. So I'm not saying, you know, some of these you can just, they're just janky. You know where I'm going with this. I'm not saying it has to be a $5,000 one, but a better quality one with a good trigger, etc. But I would have an AR-15 because why? Because that would count as one gun, but I could have a AR-15 rifle and a 300 blackout upper, so I could get another upper. So that would be really 2 rifles in one. I would have a 22 rifle for sure, and honestly, I would probably still have a 9mm pistol of whatever your choice is. Because what that would do is give you 22 for varmint hunting, whatever, a 9mm for self-defense, and it would give you an AR-15 223-556 for hunting / 30 caliber for, you know, bigger game. I would prefer a 308 if I'm taking down large mammals, but 300 blackout will definitely work. Now those you could pick your brands, you know, all that stuff, whatever you think. Yes, he does, Lynn, and I've been testing them, and they're legit. Government. Yeah, I've seen a lot of the TIOS single stacks. I have seen a lot of those. And I just think now in our era, you know, double stack is just the way to go. If you wanted a single stack, there's nothing wrong with them. And in a lot of the majorities, you would need it. Hopefully, you would only need a single stack of ammo would work for you. But and you could carry a backup mag. Those mags are very thin. Thanks, Brian. I appreciate you. Have a great night, buddy. Ooh. Floridian, man. Unfortunately, sold my first gun. 1977 new Colt 45 government model. Series 70. Ooh. Yeah, man. My best friend, his uncle is, you know, got dementia and things like that, was getting rid of some guns. And he got his original Colt. And it is a 70 series. And man, it's nice. So he's got that. Now me, oh boy, I I would still like to have a government 45 milled. I would still like to have one milled for a dot. Oh, call me call me sacrilegious or whatever, but I still would want to do that. Tiger Rabbit said, what works for me are the 1911, the 45 ACP, Ruger Blackhawk and 357, and a Ruger MK1 22LR. There you go. Man, I love me a 1911 and 45. I mean, yeah. And I will say this, my favorite 45, and I've had a bunch of 45s, but my favorite 45 is my custom STI. They don't even make it anymore. That I had camoed and OD green and totally tricked out. That is my favorite 45. That thing is so damn nice to shoot. I love it. It is so fun. Hello, J78. How are you doing? Yes, Lynn, I actually own the CMMG 22 kit on that AR-15, but mine doesn't run very well. I've tried it in 2 different ARs already. I guess I could try it in 3. Mine doesn't run real well, and the mags suck. The factory CMMG mags for the 22 conversions absolutely suck. I've got a couple of them that don't load worth the shit. I'll sit there and hand load them, and you can just hear them rattling around in there. And I put the right ammo. I'll count them out, put them all in there. Those mags suck. So that's just my opinion. And it could be my particular unit of one, because I've seen some people that have had good, good luck with them. So, Lynn Holt says, would you purchase and carry a 28-year-old pristine Safe Queen? Oh, what is it? What is it? That's what I would need to know. That's what I would want to know. Because I have some 38-year-old Safe Queens, and I have a 45-year-old Safe Queen. I'm just joking. They're not Safe Queens. And I've shot them. But that's when I get into carrying them. I'm not saying I wouldn't carry them if I were into irons, but they don't have dots, and I'm not going to mill those Safe Queens to have an optic put on it. So that's why I won't carry them, because I can't put an optic on it. And yes, can I still shoot irons? Yes, y'all have all seen it. So I'm not saying irons are bad. I am just a dot guy, and that's my opinion. Everybody can have their opinion. Also, I do want to put a light on it. So some of my older 1911s, they don't have rails. I'm not saying I have to have a light. I just prefer it. Yes, Les Baer, I've owned them. They're great guns. They're fantastic guns. I carried Les Baers. I had 2 Les Baer, 1 Ed Brown, and I carried every one of those. They were all in 45. One of the Les Baer was the custom. Oh shit! What was the name of it? This is back when Les Baer made really great guns, and they made them all here. Now a lot of Les Baer frames are made in the Philippines, and that's when it came. Now this particular model was engraved, all etched, and it came in a really nice walnut box. It was not cheap. Fantastic guns, and they had 1,000-round break-ins on those suckers, and it was legit. But yes, I carried Ed Browns. I carried both the Les Baers, and they were fantastic guns. So I would not be afraid to carry a Les Brown or an Ed Brown, or excuse me, a Les Baer or an Ed Brown. In my opinion, these days, if I were to buy a 1911, they would have to be in 45. The 9 models have the same capacity as the 45. 9 would have to be in 2011. I agree with you. Single stack 9mm really have no place with me. They just don't. I'm not saying you shouldn't own one if that's what you want. I'm just saying they have no place for me. Custom carry, interesting. It is an aluminum frame. Yeah, roll it. I mean, hell, if you like iron guns, I'd carry it. Shit. You know, I kind of look at it this way. Uh, would I carry my 38-year-old gun? Yeah. I mean, I would if it had a dot, and I'm not. It has the combat sights on it, and these were an upgrade back in the day, but they're just blacked out iron sights. Can I still shoot them? Yes, I can. Do I prefer them? No, I don't. Um, so it just kind of, and I really, man, there's part of me that's like, put a freaking optic on it, just mill it, put an optic. But then I'm like, I can't because everyone I've seen that is my original model, they are just beat to shit. And mine was carried back in the day, and it still looks awesome. Let's see here. Armsman is saying once you become proficient with optics, you want one on everything. Three dot sights are never the same. And I agree with that. Can I still shoot irons? Yes. But do I prefer them? No, because I have proven to myself that I am faster with the dot. I am more accurate with the dot. I am more proficient with the dot. I am more heads up with the dot. I mean, there's just so many more that irons just are not my go to. Can I still shoot them? Yes. But do I want to defend myself with them? I could, but do I have to? No, I don't have to. That's where I'm going with this. Let's see here. DC is saying my EDC is a M&P 4-inch with a Apex tactical forward set trigger and 3 MOA green dot. Any justification for switching to a higher end EDC? If you're happy with it, man, this is where I don't. If I'm an influencer, I'm going to influence you to do what you want, carry what you want. If you are proficient with that thing and you just rock it and it just works for you, shoot it, carry it, love it. But if you're curious and you're like, hey, I want to try something different, there's nothing wrong with that. But what I always tell people, if you have a gun that you love and you're proficient with it, but you want to explore other options, do not, and I repeat, do not trade in the gun that you know works for you and that you know you like. Don't get rid of that gun. Keep it, move it to the side, get whatever else you're going to get. And if it's a thing, I got to trade something in. Trade in other shit that you know that you don't care about. Trade that in if that's what the point is, that you need more money to buy what you want. Trade that stuff in. Don't trade away the gun that brought you to the prom or that you really like. Don't get rid of that to buy I'm looking for the next greatest thing. Don't do that. I've seen people such as friends of mine that y'all all know that have bought 3 and 4 of the same freaking gun 4 different times because they're like, oh shit, I got rid of that to get something else. And then, oh man, I missed that gun because I shot it so good. Don't end up like that. So that would be my recommendation. There's nothing wrong with dabbling your toes in the stream. Okay, just don't throw all your shit away to try to seek out the next greatest thing because that's what all the influencers do. Hey, this thing's the best thing since sliced bread. Well, I've shot that gun and I'm like, it doesn't do anything that this other polymer Tupperware wonder does. Oh, it's got new serrations. Who gives a shit about that? You could take your gun that you love and works, and you could have new serrations milled in it for $100, and you're not out $600 for the same freaking gun. It's just lipstick on a pig. That's just my opinion. Take it for what you want. Oh, Tactical Rabbit, man, go have fun in that snow, brother. Be safe. I appreciate you jumping in. There's nothing wrong with that. And here's another thing that I keep going around and around about. If it's a gun and y'all know this about me. If it's a gun that you love and you're never going to get rid of it and you're not worried about the historical value of it, mill it. Do what you want to it. If you are like, man, I think this is the greatest option for what I want to carry, And I still love 45. I know people are like 10 millimeter, and there's nothing wrong with 10 millimeter, but I still love 45. It'll put a big ass hole in somebody, you know. So I say mill it, do what you want to it. And yes, Nighthawk does really good work with that. And yes, Apex triggers are awesome, especially in the M&Ps, man. No problem, DC. Yeah, I've seen so many people trade their freaking guns. They're like, "Oh, this is my favorite gun. I shoot it so good." And then they'll be, "Hey, I bought a new gun." And I'm like, "Oh, what'd you get?" And they're like, "Oh, I got this XYZ whiz bang thing." And I'm like, "Well, where's your other gun?" And they're like, "Oh, I traded it in." I'm like, "What the hell did you do that for? You shot that gun really good." And then they'll go shoot the new gun, and they shoot either the same groups or it's worse, or now it's got a little bit different angle or a different trigger. They got to get used to it. I'm like, man, don't ever get rid of your prom date. Just don't do it until you know. Now, if it's just some piece of shit that you're just wanting to dump off and that's not your go-to, that's a whole different ball game. um, any opinions on the new Rost Martin? A lot of hype behind it. I mean, it's made in Dallas, Texas, so it's made right here. I mean, in my home state. So I think that's really cool. I didn't know the story behind them until I listened to Chris from the 740s chat. But the husband and wife team that own it, the wife, I think it's her grandfather or her great grandfather, actually originated Springfield. I mean, I'm like, wow, okay, you got some heritage there. So, I mean, they've got a lot of lineage there in the gun market. And I think that's a really cool option. I've played with them. They've got them at Texas Gun Experience. They've got the gray one, the tan one, and the black one. I've played with them. It's cool that it comes dot ready. Also, it takes CZP10C mags, which I think is really cool. The trigger, it's okay. It's not perfect. You know, I think the CZP10C trigger, factory trigger, is better. But I mean, I like the gun. It kind of reminds me of a kind of a cross between a Sig P320, an M&P, and like a CZ. It's kind of like all meshed into one. The sights on it, if you want to replace them, they are Springfield XD sights. That's what it's cut for. So anything that you could get sights for an XD, you could put that on it. The optic, it's got different plates. I think it comes with like an RMR and maybe an RMSC plate. The price is pretty unbelievable. It's like $440 or something like that. So I think it's a good price there. Um, I think it's for a person looking for a reasonably priced pistol. I think it's a good option. I haven't shot one, so I don't want to hang my hat on it. Yes, WB, I got your email. So, but I don't want to hang my hat on it because I haven't shot it. I haven't put rounds through it. I haven't done any of that. But I think it's another offering that, some people might really like. So I think it's good that we have that option. I don't know what kind of traction it's going to have behind it. Like you as a holster maker, are you going to have a huge demand for it? I don't know that yet because it's not been out long enough. And a lot of people, when they go in, the gun people talk about, hey, do you want a Glock, a Sig, or an M&P? They don't say, hey, do you want a Ross Martin? So, but if they're like, hey, I'm on a budget, I'm looking for this price, then they could lead them to that. So I don't know. Only time will tell. I hope they take off because it's a Dallas, Texas company, and I would love to, see them soar. I just don't know. They're in a very flooded market in the striker fire market. We all know that. So, yep, I got rid of an M&P compact with an Apex trigger kit. Yep, a lot of people regret those. They're great triggers, and the guns are good guns. Yeah, it is. And that's what they were saying, that they do kind of share a lot of that. I'm sorry. Yeah, it is the Delta. Yep, AREX. Yeah, they have a lot of those characteristics. And they're talking about coming up with other frames and stuff like that. So maybe they'll have like a 19X version, like with a long frame, or excuse me, a long grip and a short frame and blah, blah, blah. So I think it's always good to have options. I don't think it would hurt, to probably dabble in that pond. I know for you, you have to have the mold made and all that other stuff, which is not cheap. I think if you've been getting requests on it, then obviously there is a demand for it. But I just don't know if it's going to be a big enough demand. Is it going to be 5 or 6 holsters, or is it going to eventually be 100 holsters? No, that's really hard to say. So, and that's kind of like what I was saying earlier. The striker fire market is very, very flooded, and that name recognition of the other big three brands, they carry a lot of weight. So you're always going to have, holsters for M&Ps and Smith and Wesson and Sig and, or excuse me, Glock and those. But, I don't know for a Ross Martin, you might have 3 or 4 here and there. So it's real hard to say. All right, well, I'll go ahead and jump off because Turkey's opinion is going to be kicking off here in a minute. So I don't want to step on other people's chats. But I appreciate y'all, jumping on. This has really been a great chat. And again, check out Texas Gun Experience. If you're ever in the area, I've had a lot of people just say, "Hey, I'm driving through, Texas. Where should I stop?" I would say stop at Texas Gun Experience. Check out that range. To check out those fully autos. I mean, they got some really cool stuff. Not because that's my home away from home, but I really enjoy them. They support me. They help me out. They always get the guns I need. I pay for them though. They don't give them to me. But I mean, they're just good people, and I always believe in supporting local, and they're local. So that's kind of what I do. So I appreciate y'all so much. Y'all have any questions, comments, anything after the chat, please drop it below, and I will get y'all that information or answer the questions that you might have. But I appreciate y'all so much as always. Have a wonderful night. Be safe out there. Love one another. If you haven't seen a family member in a while, reach out and say hello. Just checking on you. But I appreciate y'all so much. We're all a big family here, and I enjoy y'all make this happen. So y'all are the ones. But thank y'all so much. And remember, an unarmed nation is a very weak nation. So we all got to carry on. Thanks, everyone. Y'all take care.